Hey, this is Doug from Doug and Nikki. I'm here with a spy cam in my hand. I have to tell you, this was provided for us to do the review, but with no instructions. So if it sucks, I will tell you it sucks. If it's awesome, I will sit here and gush about it. But so what we're gonna do in this video is I'm gonna unbox it, tell you about some of its features. Then I'm gonna use it. I'll show you some video of me using it, that kind of stuff, and come back, give you a Doug score from 1 to 5, let you know if it sucked or if it was amazing. But so, okay, let's open it up, see what's inside, talk about some of its features. So, some really cool things about this and maybe a little bit of a downside. So let's start off with the downside and work our way up to the good things. Downside is this only works on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi systems if you're going to use it on Wi-Fi. My personal experience has been with 2.4 gigahertz only systems. I have a really sophisticated mesh system that has 5G as well as 2.4G, and these typically have not performed so well. Some have done really great, some have really didn't work. I will definitely test it and let you know so you know what you can expect. That's my only downside that in terms of things that I'm a little nervous about. Cool things about it are, number one, if you're not going to use the Wi-Fi and you're going to record to the SD card, the SD card is capable of recording on up to 128 gigabyte card, which I have definitely found some of these systems are like, yeah, I can't handle anything over 32 gigabytes or something like that, you know, which is just terrible and doesn't work very well. It natively records at 1080p, which is obviously HD quality. Let me take a look, because I was a little confused. It says you can record to an SD card, but it was sounding to me more like it was gonna, for whatever reason, in China, they seem to like the terminology of TF card, which we don't use here. This is micro SD compliant. So that's what you would use. You would use a micro SD card to record to this. You can use these giant, check out these batteries. This is supposed to run for 20 hours off these batteries, which is just amazing. That's super cool. You can also run it endlessly on USB power. You just plug in the USB, plug it into a power supply, and actually as it records, it will loop it. So like if you get to, and if you use 128 gigabytes, you're never gonna get to the end. But let's say you got to the end and your micro SD card was full at 128 gigabytes, it would start deleting the oldest files and recording new files, which is great, so you don't have to worry about running out of memory. So let's talk about a little bit about this and how it's designed and supposed to work, and then we'll put it to the test. Okay, so it's got this teeny little camera here, which depending upon how spy you wanted to be with your spy camera, you could use it like as a nanny camera, right? This is totally flexible metal. You can shape it however you would like. The super obvious one is you just take that, put it on the counter, have it looking at the room, and then you could also set it up so that it is motion sensitive. So if somebody walks in the room and starts recording, and then when they leave the room, it's going to turn itself off. Or you could just leave it running continuously. You obviously could do all kinds of things like this. Comes actually with a very nice 3M piece of double-sided tape. This looks like it would be pretty permanent. So I would make one decision about where you're going to put that. This is super flexible, no pun intended, but it is super flexible in how you're going to use this and set it up. You could do a ton of things with this. I think it's really cool. Only one thing to do. I'm going to charge it up. I'm going to use it for about a week, and then I will come back and I will let you know what I found. If I have anything interesting that put on video so you can really see how it works, I will do that for you. All right, let me go do that, and we'll come back and talk about the review. Okay, so let's talk about some of the basics while we watched my cat take a nap. So number one, for its functionality and size, I think it's very cool. It's cool the way you can manipulate it. I really like the way you can save to a very large SD card and then it'll loop the video. Those things are all super pluses. I do have a little bit of a complaint as here in the USA, it's recording to some crazy AVI file, which is non-compliant with Adobe. Like Adobe, I have the most professional Adobe Premiere Pro software and it won't process these files. So I had to go on a creepy site online and convert a couple files real quick into MP4s, which as you can see, it compressed them terribly. The video is still pretty good, but it's obviously a much smaller image than what it should have been. but that's because I was using some creepy free service site. So if you're able to work with an AVI file, .avi, then this should be great for you. If maybe I did something wrong in the settings and you see that there's a settings where it'll record to an MP4 or an MOV file, then okay, you're golden with that also. But in any case, in terms of the video and recording and all that kind of stuff, that all worked perfectly. It's just that file format which didn't really work for me. So given that, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 on the Doug score. There's a possibility that this could be really good, a 4 or a 5, but just in my immediate life in the course of the week using it, it was only a 3 out of 5. All right, I hope that's helpful, and we'll talk to you next time.